The Complete Guide to Asperger's Syndrome is written by the world's greatest living authority on the condition, Dr. Tony Attwood. It's a comprehensive book. It's very long. It is illuminating and rather scholarly, but it's also accessible to people with a non-medical mind. Now, in the preface to the book, he deals with the controversial 2013 decision to remove the term Asperger's syndrome from the DSM-5, that's the Diagnostic Statistical Manual on Mental Disorders, 5th edition, and to fold Asperger's syndrome into the general autism spectrum disorder. And he deals with that in the preface and the implications for treatment, etc. And then throughout the rest of the book, he just refers to the condition using the original designation of Asperger's syndrome, named, of course, after the renowned Austrian pediatrician, Dr. Hans Asperger, who died in 1980. So just to have a brief look at the chapter list, after the preface, he deals with what is Asperger's, and then there's a chapter about the diagnosis. Chapter 3 is on social understanding and friendship. Chapter 4, Teasing and Bullying, that's largely with children in mind. Chapter 5 is called Theory of Mind, otherwise known as Empathy, a rather interesting chapter on empathy. The understanding and expressions of emotions. And then we're into another extremely interesting chapter on special interests. Aspies are known for having special interests in rather eccentric things like train timetables and lists of stars and so on, and facts about the weather. Language, cognitive abilities, movement and coordination, and then there's a very interesting chapter about sensory sensitivity. A lot of Aspies talk about sensory sensitivity, particularly sensitivity to sound, but also to touch and sight and smell, etc. So that's a very interesting chapter. And then there's some advice for Aspies after school, college and career. An Aspie can have a very fulfilling career, just if a few allowances are made for them. And then chapter 13 deals with long-term relationships, romantic relationships, and talks in detail about what happens when an Aspie is in a long-term romantic relationship with a neurotypical person and the problems that can be caused. And then there's a chapter on psychotherapy, and finally, frequently asked questions. So I recommend it for anyone interested in the topic.